Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Asia Healthcare Innovation Summit. My name is Cody Yin, and I'm a venture capital investor at A-Rose, based in Shanghai. So A-Rose is a global investment firm backed by Fidelity, and we have been investing in Asia for over 2 decades. Healthcare is among our top investment focuses. So today I'm delighted to host the keynote with Dr. Xiang, the CEO of the Rarestone Group. Shawn holds degrees from Peking University and Yale, and he joined Redstone in 2020 from Abbott with over 15 years of leadership experience in the healthcare industry. Shawn, welcome to the keynote, and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Cody, for having me.
Great. So how about you start by telling us a bit more about yourself, why you joined Redstone, and what's the mission of the Redstone?
Thank you. Of course. So I am Shawn, CEO of Rarestone Group. We're a company committed to introducing innovative rare disease treatment solutions to help Chinese living with rare diseases. As to why Rarestone, fundamentally, it is always something that's been passionate, and for me and for my team, we've always wanted to do something to help the Chinese patients living with rare diseases, but who are so, looking forward to having innovative solutions, innovative therapeutic options to help them manage their diseases and living life to the fullest. So this is why we formed the team and working so hard to helping the patients in China with rare diseases.
Thanks, Shawn. And also A-Rose is very proud to be one of the founding investors of Redstone. So the keyword today is about the ecosystem building. Why is this relevant and important to the rare disease industry, in your mind?
Of course, the Chinese rare disease patients these days are facing particular unmet needs, very substantial unmet needs. In terms of having access to innovative solutions in China, the burden, the challenges are very significant. Over 800 orphan drugs that has been approved globally, only 20% or less than 20% are available in China. So access to treatment solutions, that's one challenge. But beyond having the right drugs for their diseases, Chinese rare disease patients also having particularly other unmet needs, like having the access to information, access to easy diagnosis and fast diagnosis, the right treatment and the right physicians. These are also challenges that the Chinese patients are facing. So in a nutshell, very high unmet needs in China for rare disease patients. And we believe building an ecosystem for the rare disease patients is something very, very important. Not only going to help the Chinese patients, but also helping pharmaceutical companies and other healthcare players in this market better meet the unmet needs in the market.
That's great. So I think you briefly touched upon the mission and the role of the Redstone. Could you elaborate a bit in terms of Rarestone's role in facilitating the development of the ecosystem?
We are focused on building a platform with 4 pillars: providing access to information about rare disease, providing access to care so that patients can access physicians and treatment solutions much easier online, and providing access to solutions beyond just pharmaceutical or beyond pills, so that patients, for example, can have access to medical devices, consultation services, and other, for example, nutritional products to better manage their diseases. And lastly, providing access to innovative payment solutions so that patients can better afford innovative therapeutic options in China. These are the 4 key pillars of the platform we're building. So to answer your question, we're trying to build a platform not only serving the patients in disease areas where we have pharmaceutical solutions to help them with, but also to target other patients, other therapeutic areas, hopefully enable them to find easier access to information, care, medical device, and non-pharmaceutical solutions, as well as innovative payment solutions. So we're building a platform.
Thanks, Shawn. I think this is a grand mission. And as I recall, like 3 to 4 years ago, when we had the idea to incubate a platform like Rarestone in rare diseases, we see enormous opportunities, but also we see challenges. So you've been with Rarestone for 2 years. What do you foresee the future challenges that you may embrace?
Sure. We certainly are facing some challenges as we stepped into rare disease segment or this space from day one. I think there are 3 particular challenges. Number one, the bias to the potential of rare disease market. People in general not used to the belief that rare disease in China can be very substantial market with great potential. People would like to believe that very few patients can be identified, diagnosed, and treated. Very few physicians in China can have the right skills to treat, diagnose, and treat rare disease patients. And also, very few rare disease drugs can be covered by the national reimbursement system. These are 3 biases that not only the investor community, but also oftentimes the general public seem to believe that it's very challenging if you want to go into rare disease space. Bias, this is number 1 challenge. And the second piece is we talked about that we want to introduce innovative therapeutic solutions to help Chinese rare disease patients. We talked about over 800 orphan drugs approved globally, but less than 20% available in China. So we believe licensing is a key driver to help accelerate the introduction of those innovative solutions to China. But given the the capital market situation right now we're facing, and also the recent market events, people tend to have a bias against licensing model. And we don't want to comment on licensing model in general, especially in some other market segments like oncology and so on. But we do firmly believe that the licensing model does add great value to rare disease market, especially when you think about hundreds of drugs are still available globally outside China, and thousands, if not tens of thousands of patients are eagerly waiting for those drugs to become available to them in China. We can certainly say, and we can certainly foresee that licensing can add value in this segment. And lastly, we talked about platform, building an ecosystem, building a platform. And we've already, over the last few years, we've already seen that some medical service solution startups, and they're facing their challenges. And one challenge is, how do they make money? How can they become profitable? Here, when we say we want to build such a platform in rare disease, oftentimes people probably will question, can you become profitable? I think the answer to such a question are of twofold. Number one, the ecosystem is something that we don't believe going to be capital heavy. We are going to leverage the digital tools. We're going to leverage the internet, infrastructure that's readily available in China, and use them to help accelerate the identification, screening, diagnosis of patients. Secondly, and more importantly, for rare disease patients, unlike the chronic disease patients or other disease areas, rare disease patients have very strong willingness to pay for online consultation, for some other services online. If you think about the long journey the patient journey that they have to go through to get to the right physician, to get to the right diagnosis and the right treatment. It often takes 5 years, if not 10 years, or even 20 years. For them to pay a few hundred RMB, or roughly say 20 or 30 US dollars online, and have a virtual consultation session with the national top KOL, thousands of miles away, sitting in Beijing or Shanghai. They don't have to buy a flight ticket. They don't have to book a hotel. They don't have to travel thousands of miles to get that 15-minute conversation with the top KOL in the country. They find it very worthy of the money. So I just use this as an example. Just want to say, for rare disease, the unmet needs are significant, and the platform, the ecosystem, although we don't anticipate them to be highly profitable, to be the cash, cow of the company, but we do see great business potential here. At least from a patient perspective, they're very much willing to pay.
Shawn, despite all the challenges, I know that Redstone has already built a rich pipeline of 7 molecules. I wonder if you could elaborate a bit on your strategy of developing your pipeline.
Of course, thank you for that question. We do have made some early progress in terms of building the pipeline with 7 molecules, and also building the prototype of the ecosystem for rare disease patients and the community. In terms of the pipeline, we do have already quite a few molecules already filed NDA or near NDA filing stage, as well as some other molecules in phase 3 or in the preclinical stage. Our one of our top molecule is pitolisant, targeting narcolepsy patients, and we expect Chinese authority approval in the next 6 months. So soon enough, Rarestone will become a commercial stage company, and we're talking about with a very strong, efficacious molecule targeting narcolepsy patient in China with a population of over 500,000 patients. So very, very significant patient potential in China for this molecule. And this is the first-in-class, or even actually first-in-category molecule. So it will significantly help the Chinese patients meeting their unmet needs, where today there's no approved drug for their condition. In addition, this drug will have reasonable price, and we are confident that it will be included into the national reimbursement system once approved and launched in China. So we're talking about a very, very promising sales potential for this drug from narcolepsy. Beyond narcolepsy, we're also expecting some other additional indications for this molecule in China, including obstructive sleep apnea, or OSA. OSA in China has a prevalence of 50 million patient population. So we are certainly talking about very, very substantial additional sales upside or commercial upside beyond the rare disease indications. So with narcolepsy, with OSA, we're confident that pitolisant will be able to generate strong foundation to sustain, to form the foundation for sustainable business growth. And we will be able to cover even wider range of other rare disease indications and new drug development in China, and better serve the Chinese patients.
Thanks, Shawn. I think there are a lot of work to accomplish. So as a pioneer in this industry, I think the last question from my side is, what's your vision of the care for the rare diseases patients in China in 10 years from now?
Thank you. That's a great question. I think it's hard to precisely predict what's going to happen in 10 years. But in my view, our vision is in the next 10 years, the Chinese rare disease patients will have, number one, much easier and a wider access to innovative drugs that's available globally, and in the next 10 years, they will find it readily available, reimbursed, and accessible in China. Why we have such a vision? Because even today, 2/3 of the orphan drugs approved in China are already included in the national reimbursement system. So we have the right reasons to believe in 10 years' time, more and more drugs, if not all of them, the majority of orphan drugs in China will be reimbursed, will be covered by the national reimbursement system. And also we see that faster and faster new orphan drugs are approved in China, thanks to the policy tailwinds recently issued by different regulatory agencies in China. We see more and more drugs are introduced, approved into the Chinese market faster. So we have strong reasons to believe that faster, wider, and more readily available access to drugs. That's number one. And number two, we believe the patients will have easier access to information, to the right physicians, to the right diagnosis, and much more convenient approach to find those patients and give them the right disease management and the right care. This is something we believe our ecosystem will play an important role to help facilitate the building of such future that we're all looking forward to. And finally, we also believe that in the next 10 years, that there will be more personalized, individualized, and precision medicine targeting, to treat even individual rare disease patients. This is something that's still at a very early stage, but we are a team full of vision, and we do believe that this is something possible, and eventually, I'm sure it will happen. If not, in the next 5 years, at least in 10 years, this is something we believe it will better help patients not only manage their disease conditions, but even cure their diseases.
That's great, Shawn. Thanks a lot for sharing. It has been very, very educational and inspirational to me. Again, A-Rose is proud to be one of the founding investors of Rarestone and appreciate working alongside you, Shawn. We have successfully incubated many great companies, and we are fully confident that Redstone will be the next one. So I will now conclude today's keynote, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you all.